Hello BookTube, it's me. My name is Brianna. My channel name is Slow Reader. Yeah, Brianna Slow Reader. I'm here. If you're watching this, I'm still congested. Today we're gonna talk about a new book. Okay, this is not like an older book this time. I know I've been reading a lot of older books, but this book is relatively new, and it is called "The Sun Is Also a Star" by Nicola Yoon. And I obviously, this book is part of my series, I guess, of where I'm searching for the best romance book. Pretty much that's a series where I read romance books and try to judge how great the romance is. So this is the first book in that series. There are others along the way. If my library will hurry the fuck up. Listen, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I have beef with my local library now. Like, they used to be great, and then I stopped reading, and now I don't know what happened, but like, I've been trying to like put books on hold, and like they take forever to put them on hold, and I'm like, I know you have a copy of that book on deck. Why are you taking forever to put it on hold? Like, I'm ready to go up there and fight the librarian, like low-key. Like, I just have beef, okay? Like, I have issues. So let's kind of get into my first impressions of this before I say anything more. So Nicola Yoon, this book was obviously written by Nicola Yoon, who, if you don't know, also wrote Everything, and Everything breaks my heart, honestly, because like, the concept itself is not. We're not talking about that book. We're not talking about that book. We're talking about this book. Let me stay on topic. But she's the author of Everything, which is also a popular. Is it considered contemporary? Is it? I'm gonna say so. A popular contemporary YA book. It's one of the bigger titles, I think. A lot of titles are coming to mind right now. I'm sorry, but so. I don't remember if she published this book first or the other book first. I don't really know the order, but like, she published that book too, pretty much. And it says at the top, bestseller of Everything. So this book, I know Nicola Yoon is a black woman, and so that also helped motivate me to read the book, because I was like, oh, let me go ahead and support, my people. Like, yes, this is great. After I started reading it, I realized, oh, this is about an interracial couple. Even better, honestly, even better, because like, I really want, like, this is my own thing, like, about YA and fantasy especially. I'm not a big fan of fantasy in the first place, but like, my thing about other genres is that I really want to read books where the main character is a person of color, but like, that's not the main concept of the book, and that's hard to find. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to like this book. I really did. And you know what? I didn't like the book. I really wanted to like the book. I didn't like the book. I didn't like the book at all. Well, that's a lie. I think halfway through I started getting into it, but it's not to my taste. And it's not to say that it's a bad book. I just didn't like it because of, like I said, my own taste, my own self. Like, see, here's my issue that I need to get over when reviewing books, is like, I feel like when I say I didn't like something, I feel like I don't want people to think, oh, this book is terrible, it's awful, don't read it. Like, it's not that. It's just that I have my own taste, and I'm very picky as like a reader. So let's talk about the plot and try to give this kind of summary. So you have this girl named Natasha Kingsley. She's an illegal immigrant from Jamaica, and she's getting deported like today, like right the fuck now. She's getting deported. Again, I don't know what it is with these books and starting on like real strong intros, but that's our intro. And this is basically her going to the, Department of Immigration Services to try to save her own ass, basically, and save her family from getting deported. Like, Her family, so the way this works is she leaves out the house at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or something like that to go to the Department of Immigration Services and to save her family, and they get deported at like 7 at night or like 10 at night, somewhere around that. They leave at 7 at night, and then their flight leaves at 10, so they basically get deported at like 10 o'clock. Long story short. Then you have Danielle. Daniel Bay, I think his name was. Is that how you pronounce it? Listen, okay, I know a good handful about Japanese culture. Daniel is Korean. I don't know anything about Korean culture, so I'm gonna just apologize profusely now. We have Daniel. Daniel has an interview at Yale, which he gets all dressed up and spiffy, and he has 2 things that he needs to do before he does his interview. One of which is to get a haircut. The other of which is to give, I guess, his father some bills for I think it's for the cash register. For the bills because they own a beauty supply, and so he needs to give him some money. Obviously Daniel goes downtown for his interview, and his parents want him to go to Yale and become a doctor. He wants to become a poet, which, like, I guess, but like poets don't make money, so I don't know how that works. But like, I would think he would have like a backup plan, but I digress. Anyway, so they have basically both of them are heading downtown, both for different reasons, and the romance kind of comes in when obviously they meet each other and romance happens and all this crazy stuff, right? It's everything. My microwave is going off. So let me talk about a few issues that I had with the book, which is, like I said, not to say that the book is bad. It's just that it had several tropes that I just don't like, and that I don't think, I'm just not into the tropes. We'll say that. I'm just not into these tropes. And there's like, I think, a short list of tropes, so let's just talk about them. The first is being love at first sight. So Daniel sees Natasha and basically falls in love with her. Natasha, she sees Daniel and isn't really feeling it at first, which I mean, that's decent, that's fine. But throughout the book there's this concept that they have a destiny together and they're meant to be together. Fate just wants to be it so. Like that's just how things are supposed to be. The universe wants them as a couple. And it's just like, I'm not into that concept, which this is not the only book where I've run into that concept before, but I feel like it's becoming popular again, where you have these two people that are just meant to be together. The whole idea of meant to be, and I'm not into it. I'm just not. First of all, I hate love at first sight. It's my least favorite trope. I hate that trope more than the love triangle trope. Love at first sight, no, I'm not here for it. I don't know what the trope is called. Maybe it's not a trope, but it's this whole idea of fast love, like love happening very, very, very quickly. So everything that happens in this book, which is about 420 something pages, maybe more. Everything that happens in this book is like, happens within the course of a day. I'm talking about entire character tropes happen in a day. Natasha and Daniel went from being complete strangers to kind of to flirting, to kissing on each other, to breaking up, to kissing on each other again, and then like Daniel's brother is an asshole, and then in the course of a day he learns out like they learn his like insecurity. He's just insecure with his identity. Her father realizes that he's been living his life as a lie, pretty much. He's been living in this like fantasy world where he's a renowned actor, which is not true. And it's just so many things happen. Characters go through all these revelations. There's a side character where he realizes he's in love with his paralegal, and they have an affair in the course of a day. And then at the same time, it's ruined, and then it's so much. It's so much. And he's like married with 2 kids, but he realizes he wants to have an affair with his paralegal. It's just so much. So much happens. So much happens within 24 hours. And I just wasn't, I really wasn't here for that either. I was hoping that, you know, the passage of time would mean a little bit something more than it did. But I don't know. I just haven't been into that concept. You know how like you have a couple and it's like we've only known each other for like an hour, but we're madly in love. That type of thing. It's like that, and I wasn't feeling it. They only known each other for like a day, a week, a month, and they're just like ready to get married and have kids. There's also the other concept where I feel like the obviously the main plot point of this interracial couple, like this interracial romance story, was obviously going to be about family and the families being racist and the families not accepting the relationship, which was mostly on Daniel's end. They don't really talk about how Natasha's family feels about the whole thing, besides the fact that Daniel walks into, like, Daniel is invited to Natasha's home and then her mother gives her a dirty look like, how could you do this to me? Which, like, I get it. I understand it. I understand it. Like, if I were to bring home someone that wasn't black, my extended, like, I would need to talk to my extended family a lot before they would be able to meet them. Like, they would need some talking too, because I see my own family. I can relate to it, but I was just hoping to have a story where, this might be an unpopular opinion, but an interracial story where the main focus is not on family acceptance, you know, and how racist the family may or may not be, their own issues with it, which, like, they talk about the parents' reason for not wanting him to date Natasha, which, like, I can get. Honestly, I thought it was going to be one of those things where it's like, you can date her, but you can't marry her, because that is really, that's common. I've heard that one in real life a lot, so I thought that was going to be in the book, but I guess not. On this card, which I should have included with my other notes that are over here, but on this card I wrote a couple of things that also rub me the wrong way, but these are more things that annoy me with a lot of authors. So let me see how fast I can do this, but lately I've been noticing that authors, certain authors have been doing this, and me as both a reader and a writer is kind of irked by this. It's more of my pet peeve than anything, but I kind of wanted to take the opportunity to express this now. Two things that I want to kind of add to my pet peeves. Switching point of views. So you might get a chapter where a point of view is from this character, and then the next chapter is from a different character, and then this chapter is from this character. And I find that really, 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 really annoying, because it's like, instead of doing that, why not just write in third person, honestly? I don't know, it just gets on my nerves. Like, I would rather just you write in third person and you could just say, this person thought this, that person thought this person thought this. And then on top of that, she switches from first to third, which, I'm not gonna lie, infuriated me. Like, that made me honestly really mad to read from Natasha's first person point of view, then to go into talking about the mother, but talking about the mother from third person. Like, like, honestly, that made me so mad. I was ready to put down the book. Like, I wanted to DNF the book. I was so agitated. I was like, why do this? This is like the most unimmersive thing you can do. I was so taken out of the book. I wasn't able to, like, get into it. I hated it so much. Natasha and Daniel are kind of like these hipster kids. And I guess, like, she proves this really well, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's just like, I wasn't feeling it. Like, they're into these bands and, like, songs that I've honestly never heard the name of. Let's get this out of the way. The outro, which I always make quotes from the book. Honestly, at this point, I wanted it to be like cringy quotes, but like I said, I can't find cringy quotes. So I'm just gonna read out quotes, and we're just gonna leave it at that. The conductor said to go find God. Maybe he or she, but who are we kidding? God's definitely a guy. How else to explain war, pestilence, and morning wood? Is right here in Times Square just waiting to be found. Jesus Christ bleeding on a popsicle stick, I whisper under my breath. Hey, he says. His voice is a deep, reassuring baritone. It's one of the things I liked about him. Also, he looks like a young Bob Marley, only white and without the dreadlocks. I'm trying to get her to laugh, but nothing doing. She looks up from her broken headphones. As our eyes meet, I get a kind of deja vu, but instead of feeling like I'm repeating something in the past, it feels like I'm experiencing something that will happen in my future. I see us in old age. Daniel, she says, using the stern voice she's sure to use on our future children, she'll definitely be the disciplinarian.